Super. Thank you all for coming today. I'm very excited about spending some time with these top experts on how do we go ahead and increase our business with our past clients. So if I may, let me introduce myself. I'm Gretchen Pearson. I am the president and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Drysdale. We're mostly in Northern California. We're also spread to Northern Nevada. And I am an old dog in this business. I've been in this business since I was 21. Don't do the math, but I've been in the business for 37 years. So I still love it. And part of this conversation today is I've seen it since 37 years, that this being an age-old really issue with the industry. So if we can, I'd like to introduce some of the other esteemed panelists that we have today so that they can share their thoughts. First off, we have Emma Baldwin, who is Director of Digital Marketing and Technology. She's down in Atlanta, and she's with Sotheby's as well. So thank you very much, Emma. Look forward to then the next one is, and I'm Jackie, I'm going to have to figure the name, but it's Lou, Jackie Lou. Is that how we say it? Okay. And she's the COO of La Mancha Realty, who has been very active in social media and getting themselves promoted. And if you haven't seen them, just open your eyes. They've done a great job of it, Jackie, and congratulations on that. And the last panelist that we have today comes from our technology side. He is with MoxieWorks, who is our sponsor today. So thank you for that very much, Chris, for sponsoring this important opportunity. He is the Senior Director of Solutions at MoxieWorks. So thanks for being here. And again, thanks for MoxieWorks sponsoring this. So we've got an hour, and I know that we've got lots of intelligence and hopefully some helpful tips for each and every one of you. But today we're really, as I said, going to discuss how do we help our agents, or how do we self, whether you're a broker or an agent on this session, how do we increase our business with our past clients? And this has been an age-old question, issue, problem in the industry, that the agents in some regards do not follow up, do not then cast out all they can, wring out all they can with clients who have loved them in the past. And so kind of beginning with the whys and find this out, because it's pretty obvious. I mean, you can look at some of the stats NAR has, where if you had a flat cold lead that came in, it's going to take 1,600 of those leads to equal into one. And yet, if you go ahead and had past clients, it's going to be a 2-to-1 ratio. So how many agents have I heard saying, you know, I want to work smarter than harder? Those stats kind of show it. But again, let's talk to these panelists on how they are helping their agents and their companies get through this piece. So let's just start with why. I've kind of just picked folks as we go. Emma, why do you believe that is?
Thank you, Gretchen. I think there's a lot of reasons here. So to your point, there's a lot of stats out there. So 91% of clients don't hear from their agents after the closing table, which is just crazy to me. And that is what we try to instill in our agents, is reminding them that they cannot contribute to that 91%. And clearly with a stat that high, there are a lot of agents that are reluctant. And we look at the why. You know, what's causing that? And I think for us, and what we've noticed, is the lack of preparation. And we want to help our agents work on things that can be automated and that can be taken off their plate to better help them nurture their clients. Because I think where it seems difficult is that they feel like they've done their job. They feel like they're ready to move on to the next thing, just as their client is moving on to the next phase of their life with the purchase of their new home. But if there's preparation in place, whether that's email touch points and other ways to reach out to those clients, that's already in place to do the job for you. And you can just keep that relationship personal by continuing to nurture them through this next phase and just touching base with them. But I think that there's a level of fear that keeps agents from doing that. And I think it's just because you feel like there's this magic recipe that you don't quite have. So you move on to the next thing, which is the next client.
So it's, I appreciate that. And I think we're going to dive deeper into the technology. Can't hear me?
No, you're going in.
Can't hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. Emma was cutting in and out, so I'm not sure it was me or them. I think that I appreciate that on the why, and I think we're going to dive deeper in the technologies or how each one of you can help and make it kind of so easy. Just follow the box to the cheese, and get them there to it. But Jackie, would you pipe in on really what you think and what you guys have seen out in your company as to why the agents just don't take advantage of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think to Emma's point, there are a number of reasons why they don't. And I think oftentimes many agents are very short-sighted and just focused on that one transaction with that one client. They aren't looking towards the future to see how there could be repeat business from that one client, referral business from that one client. And I do think they also get stuck in a little bit of comfort with, okay, I finished this deal with this client, this transaction. Now I'm just going to focus on new business. So there's some hesitation to go back to, I hate using the term past clients because they're not your past clients, they're still your clients. So there's a lot of missed opportunity there. And I do think a lot of agents are fearful of trying to come off as too salesy or too pushy. So they don't even attempt to do that. And they just focus on ways to get new business, missing that whole opportunity from the clients that they've already worked with. And, like there's a lot of automation that can be done to help with that. And again, there's a lot of missed opportunities, and a lack of personalized engagement, I think, is a big point as well.
I think we'll dive into some of those too and get really specific. So I think that why is right on as well. Chris, you work with a lot of agents throughout all companies. What do you think the why is? What have you found when you're talking with them and trying to really walk them to do this?
Yeah, I think the thing that we've found most consistently is that cultivating your database is a long-term strategy. It takes time, and so it's not the shorter cycle that you see with a lead, which is sort of the thrill of the hunt. The work that you have to put in to farm your database, to grow leads, to grow referrals, to continue that sort of marketing flywheel and get people to be there for you when they transact every 7 years, for you to be the person that they're picking up the phone to call. It's harder to do because the tools that a lot of brokerages have available aren't well understood in a lot of cases, or the process isn't well understood for how to do that. But also it takes time, right? And so it could be 6 or 7 months or 2 or 3 years before you see a return on that effort. And so it has to be scalable, it has to be automated. And you have to be able to basically set it and forget it, or work with a brokerage that provides you some of that content, some of those services, so that you can scale your business to continue to farm while you're out hunting. And I think that's one of the things that we have been uniquely positioned to help brokerages do through software and automation. Specifically, one of the things that I will talk about with both of these brokerages is ActivePipe. It's been a great way that we've been able to help clients do that.
Yeah, that's great to it. As we see, part of it is the ease and, trying to get someone to understand the first elements to it. I also remember back in the day when we started, there was training folks that would come in and their mantra was, next. And right. And so we all know who that is and all, but it was next, move on to it. And I think part of that comes from what I've seen is that real estate agents are more prone to be outside sales versus inside salespeople. And what I mean by that is that we've got such big hearts, and those hearts in the way of, they break. If you go or you have the mindset that your client you just served is going to tell you were bad, they don't return your call, any of that is heartbreaking. And so that's inside sales. If you're selling to doctors, you go in and you get turned down week by week by week by week, and you can't take it personally. It's just, you put it in the mindset that it's just the timing isn't great for that person, or there isn't a need. And when we have outside sales, which I think our agents are better at, again, it's that same piece that, okay, I'll go find someone else next. And so I think that there's a little bit of that mindset that's in there. I mean, if we were to go ahead and move into this, many of you talked about the technologies that are necessary that you find the agents have been able to use or employ. So we'll go kind of in a backwards way. Jackie, we'll start with you. what are some of the technologies that you and your company have put in place, whether they be technology systems, and go ahead and spend some time on this, on as many as you can think of that are helping your agents, complete this to increase their business.
Sure. So we have a number of different tech programs, I think, like many companies do. Sometimes it's a bit overwhelming, but I think having a strong CRM is huge. That is something that you need. And like Chris said, you have a database. We tell our agents, your database is a living, breathing thing that needs to be nurtured and fed every day. So having a CRM that allows for that to happen is instrumental in your business. And within our CRM, we have, they have their house anniversary dates, their birthday dates. So they get these reminders as these pivotal moments are approaching. So that's their cue to reach out, whether they're sending a text, a video text, an email, whatever the case may be. And then we also utilize ActivePipe, and that's a really great program for those email drip campaigns. So every month they're sending a newsletter to their sphere. And then in addition to that, they may be sending, I don't know, recipe cards or housing reports, just additional little touches throughout the month to stay in front of their people, because it's not just I'm going to send one email, one newsletter, and I'm going to get all of this business. The name of the game is consistency and staying in front of your people, and the CRM, along with something like ActivePipe, that's really important to achieve those.
I think that's great. Even going in front of it, because I know in our company, we've got a CRM, but even just getting them to understand it, whether they've been experienced in the business and maybe are using just a database, and for them to switch a system or to change. Have you, in getting folks, and I'll ask each one of you this, how do you get them to either realize that they need to get here or get them to try it, and start to just even take the first steps?
So I'll go with that one. So for us,
we'll ask everyone that one, but finish that one up for me.
Yeah, so for us, what we do is we train heavily on our CRM. They're not going to want to use it if you're not putting it right in front of them. So every week we do trainings on it, how it can help them benefit their business, how it keeps them organized, streamlined, holds them accountable. Our CRM does a number of things from the point of lead to post-closing. So we're touching on all of those things, and there is a lot of automation in it. Because of scalability, they wouldn't be able to do all of these things on their own. Trying to remember all of those various things when you have, at one time, potentially 50 people that you're working with. So the CRM definitely helps with that. And yeah, that's I can't express the importance of it enough, but training on it really puts it in front of them. And we also, allow them to use it for free for a period of time. So they can give it a test run and see if it's something that they're interested in using. And there are reports that they can pull on our CRM. So there's a number of different uses with the CRM. So once they see all of that and how it saves them a substantial amount of time, and there's one spot that they can go to see their database, to see their transactions, then from there, it's easy for them to get addicted to it.
They start to get it figured out. Emma, would you answer the same question in the way of, what do you see in the way of technologies, programs, or any of that? And then we will do the follow-up question on how do you get them even to the door?
Yes, most definitely. So like Jackie said, we also have a CRM. We use Close, but we do take an approach as a brokerage to not push agents in any different direction. That's why in certain areas, we are going to have different options for tools and kind of a choose your own adventure approach, because we do, recommend, and we are data driven and focused on success tracking. So we do share with agents what we see working, but we also know that you are who you are. You're going to lean into some of those habits. We're going to hope that you're going to build new ones, but there's certain things that are always going to stay the same because of the way that you think, the way that your brain works, and the way that you proceed forward with that and supporting your client. So ActivePipe is a huge thing for us, and that is definitely one of our biggest things that we do for all of our agents utilize it, and that's been probably our biggest adopted tool outside of our CRM as well, because they feel a little less intimidated by starting with ActivePipe and feeling like some automations are in place and some pieces are touching their clients without feeling like jumping into the CRM and being reminded of what they need to be doing and all that is a little overwhelming at first if they have not maintained a database in the way that we recommend. So we work with them to get a database, get that into ActivePipe, and that's really what we push forward with first. And to the second part of your question, it's really success tracking is how we get them in there and how we get them to stay. So if I'm meeting with an agent that's sharing their hesitations of using a tool or that, hey, this hasn't worked for me in the past, I share with them what I've been able to come up with. And that's currently, and this is an accurate statistic for our company, is 19% or agents that are utilizing our email marketing tool ActivePipe with the content we're providing them, their business is 19% greater than agents that are not. So that is something. I'm not the creative on the marketing team. I'm more of the technical side. So I'm looking at them going, I know we can talk about all these ideas and they are great and they sound great, but what actually works and what is actually scalable for you today and what you're already doing and how you can fill the gap. So that's kind of how we do it, is the success. The numbers don't lie. So we can share that and hope that they join us in that journey.
I think that the numbers are so compelling as it is. Chris, I'll get to you in a minute, but both of you mentioned ActivePipe. So specifically, how are you using ActivePipe?
We use it mainly for email drip campaigns. So monthly email newsletters will get sent out, then they can figure out their own cadence of newsletters that they want to create and send to, certain bucket lists. They want to do,
Okay.
soccer parents or whatever, they can target certain areas and certain lists.
Okay, and the same, Emma, or how are you looking to do it?
Yes, so we email marketing, so we use it to send the newsletters as well as bonus pieces. So we focus on 3 touch points a month. But what's great about ActivePipe is they also have a share link feature. So anything that we create in there, we also have a share link that we can give our agents. So they're able to put that on social media and it directs them back to the content. So anyone that they don't have on email yet, or maybe they're creating something and they want it to look as though they're sending it out to, all these people and they're really enjoying the content, it's a great way for them to mirror that on social. So we kind of use that component as well. And that's a feature that's just in any email that you create in there, creates a custom landing page as well.
I mean, that certainly then gets really, again, the proof in the pudding for people to go ahead and do it. They can get more of an automatic response and go, oh, this kind of works to it. So good stuff. Yeah. Chris, I'm going to swing to you because, part of your work at Moxie is the same thing, that you may be meeting some agents, some brokerages that either are coming from no CRM, or you need to go ahead and get these top producers to know that a database in Excel is not a CRM. So how and what do you approach these guys, and what do you really see in the different technologies or parts of Moxie that they're really loving?
Yeah, and I think Jackie and Emma just gave shining examples of this working well by calling out that the database is huge, and giving value and items of value to your clients, but also to your agents along the way, and showing them that things are working and using an easier entry point like email marketing. And I think that's what we've seen to be the most successful throughout our relationships with companies is first they take a methodical approach to what they're going to do. So the technology, the training, and the methodology all sort of line up for brokerages that we see that are having a lot of success. And obviously we want them to use our CRM, but part of the reason that we built the Moxie Cloud is that you don't have to use our CRM to be able to use ActivePipe and have your contacts in ActivePipe. You can connect our tools with other tools and really build an ecosystem that's going to make sense for your brokerage methodology and the way that you built your process. But also, there are tons of easy entry points for an agent to get started. So for example, putting a tag on a contact in your CRM can kick off an entire campaign in ActivePipe that runs potentially for years and is personalized, customized to that individual user that's receiving it. And they feel like you've taken a lot of time to do that. In a lot of cases, the agent didn't do anything to send that off. And I think where we see the most success is where brokerages have set up the capability to do things on behalf of their agents to add value, and then show them the results to encourage usage of other things like the CRM. And so it's the benefits of all sort of generated by the brokerage, by sending on behalf of the agent. They're encouraging use of the CRM. They're getting content that's curated in front of the consumer on a consistent basis. And I think I love what Emma said about the 3 touch points. Consistency is the thing that we see that's the most effective in converting a client over time. I'm really lucky because I have mountains of data that I can see how people convert and what the time frames people are converting on. And it's just astonishing how much that consistent methodology, making it easy for agents, enabling them in an easy way, and then providing them a tool that helps them see the results really clearly is important. I think one of the most difficult things for most agents in email marketing is knowing when it's working and like seeing when people are starting to raise their hand, and then putting in a call to action to direct them back, right? And those are 2 things that you guys have built in really well to your methodology, and also that we thankfully can help facilitate really well with technology.
That's great. Thank you for that. We are going to dive in a little bit deeper of kind of the common theme from I hear you guys is content and helping them along. We are going to kind of discuss, if we can get down into the weeds in a minute, about, you know, what specifically are some of the contents? What are the cadence that you suggest? How much of it is the agents actually needing to do, or is there, you know, programs that they can plug and play that you all believe at a minimum level is going to help them? But going back into, and maybe it's just my brokerage to it, but, you know, part of the issue is how much does the company help transfer clients in or their database into a system, a CR, that it is then organized? Do you just, or do you let the agents do it, or what is it? Because we get some struggle with trying to get imported in and then also trying to tag them on what their relevance are. Are they, you know, a past seller? Are they a buyer? So do you guys just do a lab? Do you go and try to import? How do you work with the agents on the individual databases and getting them in?
We tackle it both ways. So when an agent joins, we initially say, provide us with the list of your sphere and we will put them into our system for you. It's a waste of your time to manually enter, you know, 100, 200, 300 contacts. So we take that bulk of the work off of their plate for them. But then after that, you know, we teach them, this is how you want to enter it. This is how you would tag this particular sphere. If it's a past client, you're going to hate that phrase. If it's a referral, whatever the case may be. So we're allowing both to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so is there also with new folks that you just teach them from the beginning and there's less of a resistance there because they don't have anything or no knowledge towards, you know, or a bias towards what they're doing on it? Is that right to it? Yeah.
Yeah, and there's always a little bit of a hesitation for agents to provide a company with their sphere list. You know, there's some nerves associated with that, but we make it very clear that those are their people. We are not soliciting their people. And once they get past that, that's the initial block in the beginning is, I don't want you to have my client's information or things like that. But once you get beyond that, then they're fine with allowing us to put it in because they see the benefit of how it can help them nurture those relationships long term.
I mean, isn't it another age-old issue we have in the business is that the agents think that we're going to, you know, do something with them. And I think that comes to the core of this, right? We don't have the relationship. They may know the brokerage name, but we're not going to the birthday parties. We're not going to the wedding, any of that. And so somehow for them to think that we're going to, because we just send a couple emails and they don't know us, that we're going to steal their clients. And so it kind of true to this piece on the trust level to it or how they perceive it to it. But Emma, how do you guys get people started? Do you import in? Do you have classes? Do you have someone on site helping them get it in, or how do you handle it?
Yeah, we do everything for our agents when it comes to their database. So we have a formal trade-off process as well as an update process. So pretty much everything that ActivePipe offers, we offer at a more of a local experience in the sense of training. And we also have an email, ActivePipe at our domain, and people can send in their database and any updates, one email at a time, a picture of a business card. It doesn't matter. We're going to help them maintain their database. But I do have to give credit to ActivePipe. They make it very easy in their training, we send our agents videos directly from their site and YouTube, directing them on how to do it. If, to Jackie's point, they have any hesitation, we do want a copy of it though for other marketing operations. We usually don't get a lot of pushback. To your point, the relationship is not ours. We don't have that leg up. So we usually don't have a lot of pushback there, especially with everything we're able to offer. But we do have more of a one size fits all approach. We say that they can segment them as they'd like, but everything we're gonna do is one size fits all, because we're gonna focus on content that really does appeal to the masses and keep that personal to you, but it's up to you to fill the gaps and segment them. If they're a buyer, seller, investor, or they have other parameters that makes that relationship, special that about them, you should be filling those gaps while we take care of the rest. So we focus on a one size fits all for the most part.
That's great. Chris, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, I think what Emma said is fantastic, and Jackie as well, that building out a process for each of these things and making it easy for people to come into the process is what we've seen succeed over and over again. And how we want to help facilitate getting contacts in is to integrate, right? And so using our own CRM to integrate directly to the email. So if you have a contact in your email, it's in your CRM, it's going to be an active pipe and you can email it. You don't have to enter it twice. Integrating with other CRMs, like Close, for instance, and being able to pull tags that exist in another CRM so that you can leverage them in our platform other places. I think if we can remove friction from the process, because that's where the roadblocks happen, right? If someone runs up against this screen that they don't understand, or an inconvenience that's going to take them 4 hours to resolve, it's going to be really hard to get them engaged again. So if early you can take those roadblocks out of the way and get them to value, they're much more likely to do work for a closed transaction that they can see versus one that they can't. And that's what we want to help facilitate through the technology, is making it easier to see the path to that closed transaction through the interactions that you're having with the software, by removing those roadblocks.
That's great. Before we get to the nitty gritty of, some of the actual tricks and trades that you guys use, whether it's then the content or, suggestions from your agents or how much customized stuff, let me just ask in the way of how are you using either video or social media to help continue to increase the business from past clients? So Emma, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, so video for us, we haven't really implemented it regarding our marketing playbook, we call it. We really do just focus on social. So we're starting to take that leap, as I know that many brokerages are, and kind of taking that in marketing properties and kind of doing recaps of significant properties and what we've done over the year. And one of the biggest things is kind of what we've done over the course of a month and what we've closed, and focusing on video content to market that. And it's a feel good for clients as well, as their agent shares that with them. But regarding our actual strategies for touch points or anything like that, we're not doing a whole lot of that at this moment, but that's where we're going as we're seeing the numbers drive the success around that. So that's definitely kind of our goal for 2025.
That's great to it. Jackie, how about you?
So content is key. When you educate, you attract. That's something we always tell our agents. So if you're pushing things out on social media, whether it's video or blogs, it needs to be educational. It needs to be, we're in an industry where everybody asks, hey, what's happening in real estate? So people are curious. So if you're pushing out this content that's going to educate them, then you're going to see a bigger return and people engage more. So as far as videos, we don't necessarily have a cadence of videos that our agents use, but we encourage them to put videos out. We have all of this content that we as a brokerage have created, and we tell the agents, take that, put it into your own words. That's completely fine. You can copy all that material, put it into your own words, and put it on a video. Video definitely works. There's no denying that. People are going to be more apt to watch a 2-minute video than they are to read a very long blog. So we do encourage agents to utilize video. And then social media, there's no way around it. Social media is everywhere, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Not that I know how to do a TikTok, but you have to, at least have people who know how to do these things so they can teach the agents. They need to meet their sphere where they are at. So if you're at a certain demographic where everybody is on TikTok, that's the avenue that you need to be using. So we teach the agents, know where your sphere is and then work towards that to get in front of them.
That's great advice to it. Chris, you want to add in on how Moxie plays in from social to video or any of that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was said really well that you have to meet people where they are. And we want to do that on the technology side, right? We want to remove the roadblock from people communicating. And so ActivePipe, for instance, makes it really easy to add video content that you may have recorded and put on YouTube, Vimeo, or Dailymotion right into the email to make it a little bit more dynamic. And then we also have a social advertising tool called Promote that really simplifies the process of placing both a listing ad or a services ad to make it really approachable for somebody that may not be able to use the ad manager in Meta to be able to run ads just like someone who can in a quick, easy sort of way. And so we want to, once again, remove the roadblocks from being able to participate in technology by making it easy and making it accessible.
That sounds fabulous. I mean, it sounds like, again, it makes it easy and pulls folks that once they're into it. From years and years ago, well, since social media started, one of the pieces that we've tried to get our agents to understand is to not just go ahead and push out their stuff. They need to pull. And again, when we go back to relationships, when we're on with a past client or I shouldn't say past client either, huh, Jackie? So in a previous client, we see that Susie's daughter, or Susie, just turned 3. Instead of, pull that out and not just respond with a, or a happy birthday emoji, call them. And, again, it's lifestyle based. So, say, oh my goodness, how great that was. I can't believe that she's 3 now, she's 6, and pull that stuff out. And, lots of times, as Ninja says, in the same regard, sometimes we know when they're going to be needing a change in their house situation before they do. And, so all that example is if mom fell and your client was, the daughter, they're busy just taking care of getting the mom into where they need to go or whatever it is. And they're not even thinking about it. And it may be 18 months later that still you need to, without ambulance chasing, need to be able to serve them all to it. So, we look at that as well. I just wonder, with the holidays coming up, and we can change this in a couple of ways, what is kind of the very specific plans and what is the push that you guys are doing with either Thanksgiving coming up or any of the holidays towards the end of the year that are coming? Who wants to take this one first? And we can talk about content or the methodology, which way.
I'm happy to jump in because this is where I get on my soapbox, and I promise I won't do that today, but this is where my team most of them can hear me, knows that I get on my soapbox. So I think just to add to your, the first thing you said before I get into the question, this is the time to pull out as much as you are pushing out, and really you should be pulling more. And where I get on my soapbox is things have to be personal. You have to build those relationships. A client's job is not reaching out to you to let you know that they're ready to buy and sell. So stop posting about that. Don't put it in an email. Don't put it on social media. It's your job to communicate, nurture, and identify those life changes that are happening that lead to transactions. That keeps people liking, knowing, and trusting you. It's not you putting. I have agents that come to us all the time about emails they put together, or with a teammate, or social media posts, especially during the holidays and all this. Well, I'm putting all this out, and we sometimes have to stop them. We're like, who have you reached out to? Who have you actually connected with and had a real connection? Because, checking the boxes of how often you're posting and emailing, that's not consistency. It's where you're filling those gaps and finding those connections and realizing, and again, with the ninja mindset, that's a big part of it as well. So the holidays are key for us. That is when we recommend you are really nurturing your clients, whether that's client gifts, those are phone calls, That's reaching out. It's not a text message. It is phone calls and really giving them something of value during the holidays, whether that's a gift or just a, hello, how are you? And we'll handle the rest. We're going to focus our content around this time to really be on, whether it's gift guides or sharing things about the clients. We want to learn more about them rather than pushing out more stuff for them to just read and feel like it's generic. So we'll handle that part of it. We want you to fill the gaps of those phone calls and relationships.
That is so great to it. It is such a golden opportunity to it. I think that one of the next questions, which we'll come into, and Jackie, I want to hear your answer, that what your plan is around the holidays, but it does start to be, how do we get scalability? How do we get relevance to those individual agents or individual clients that we're talking to on a broad level? And we'll come back to that so you can think about that one, Emma. But Jackie, how do you see this opportunity with the holidays coming up?
So I also want to go back to what you were saying about pulling out just very briefly. It's great, everybody can like and everybody can comment on a post, but it's just going to get buried. So you want to stand out. So like to your point, send a video text message, pick up the phone and actually call people. So many people underestimate the power of picking up the phone now that we are so email driven and text messaging. But that I think is key. You need to stand out, and just liking a comment is not going to build that relationship any further. So as far as the holidays go, to Emma's point, like this is the key point to really engage with your people, wrap your arms around your people. So what we do is for Thanksgiving, we do a pie day. So our agents, we tell them we're going to order pies for you all. If you're interested, tell us how many pies you want to order. We take care of ordering it. We will go and deliver it to the offices, and then the agents can come and pick up their pies, and they can go about their way and do their pop buys or leave the pie on the front step to those people that they're currently working with, to those who have been big supporters in their business, anybody that's really helping them in their business. So Pie Day is a huge thing with our company. Agents look forward to it. It's a big undertaking. I don't know that our operations team loves it as much as the agents do, but it's definitely worth it. And then Christmas, I know a lot of our agents are for Christmas, Hanukkah, they will do, like Emma said, gifts, ornaments, things like that, but just really reaching out to your people, touching your people during this time, and humanizing it too, because the holidays are really tough for a lot of people. So, staying in touch with people that you maybe don't think need it, but they actually do, that really goes a long way. So the technology is great, but there has to be some human involved in there as well.
That's great. I think about that Pie Day, and we're going to talk about scalability in a minute to it, but the way you've kind of reverse scaled it. I mean, and as you said, staff probably doesn't like the whole scalability to it, right? But the scalability of having it in a box and then having the agents take it by you ordering and all of that piece, instead of it just removes another block or a barricade for the agents on who should I even order the pies from, and how this process should go, and should they be warm, should I have a different choice, how do I all that piece to it. You've scaled that in a different kind of way than what typically people would say scaling is. So how bad does staff hate it?
It depends. If it goes smoothly, which it never does, it's great. But it's 1 day, 2 days of really grinding, getting those pies out to all the offices, and then we bring them all to the police stations and the firehouses in the towns in which we have offices. So it's work, but it's work that's worth it. It's fun. Yeah. And the agents love it.
Go ahead.
You have to make it easy for them, to your point, because if you don't, they won't do it. And again, I always talk about missed opportunities. That is a missed opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to get the staff really mad at me as well, is that the one that you really as a company do a scale in that regard, that you really take a centralized piece and then pass it on out? That's probably a big enough undertaking, but do you do any of the others?
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
So any other holidays that you guys do a massive scaling event like that?
We'll do an Easter event, and we'll invite, clients to. We have the Easter Bunny. We have all sorts of games and things for the kids to play with. Sometimes we'll do a Santa event. We'll invite people in, get pictures taken with Santa. But I would say the Pie Day is really the one that's the biggest one that we do, the biggest undertaking.
I'll come back to you, Chris, in a minute. I want to swing up to you, Emma, as well. Have you done or tried any bit of company-wide contests? Your agents will go out and work with the past clients, and I see, Jackie, I shouldn't say that, previous clients, and they can enter in from a Easter coloring contest to testimonials, posted testimonials, or anything that's kind of a win-win, and that you've got a 36-inch TV that's going to be handed out to someone or something along those lines. Have you ever tried something like that, or either one of you guys?
No, we really, when it comes to client gifts, sponsored events, client appreciation events, and anything like that, we do lean on the agents we'll assist them with ideas and strategize, but we more so help automate the way that they achieve it. So they bring us an idea and we'll help with tools and resources that we have at the company level that are no cost to our agents. We use that to help them. For example, to Jackie's point, we do have a few agents that do the pie giveaways. We automate that for them. So we make them a beautiful portal with one of our form builders that we have an enterprise account with. We allow people to pick their flavor. It goes into an automated system that sends them a beautiful message back and where to pick that up. And then there's a big event after. So we assist with the strategy and making sure everything goes seamless for them with these ideas that they have. But right now with things like that, that's not quite scalable for us. We do have a large staff and a lot of things that we can help them with. But right now it's more making sure that their plan goes seamless so that they can be creative in what they're doing, because I think there's the beauty in picking what you do as well. Some agents do the pie and their clients expect that and look forward to it every year. And then others have something else that they do and they really want that to be part of their brand. So we give them that ability to really own that.
That's great stuff, you ladies. Thank you. What would you have to say, Chris?
I love both of these. I'm trying to angle on how I can get a pie this Thanksgiving.
Add you to our database, Jackie's.
Feel free. And so I think our work in technology happens way ahead of this. And it's having CRM to put all that information so you know whether it's going to be pumpkin, sweet potato, or apple, right? And those are the pieces of information that you're pulling out throughout the course of the year. Our goal is to give you somewhere to put them so that when you need to use them, you don't have to search through a pile of notes. You're not looking through sticky notes. You're not trying to remember, racking your brain. It's just right there on the contact record of your client, as well as the last 10 years of pies that you've sent them, all the transactions you've done with them, and the email that they opened from you last week, all in one place. And that's really where our work happens, is way ahead of that to make that pie day a little bit easier for you guys.
Organizing it. That sounds great. Well, I've promised that we would get down into some nitty gritty. And so this is really getting, some folks just even get some basic ideas or maybe some commitments of what they'll want to put in place, whether it starts here with the holidays or, we always have that I'm going to start a diet in January kind of thing. And so hopefully this isn't like the diets turn out, that they really will place something in there. But for me, and I think I'm going to start with you, Emma, in the way of, as I'm understanding the company, that you guys will provide, and Jackie probably does too, but you'll provide at least a few of some of the pieces, and whether they're templated or however they want to look to be, for the agents to use. It's not necessarily every last piece, because you want them to have some customized pieces. But when you're also teaching them, how often do you recommend that they should touch? And if in the same regard, you said that your company is a little bit further out. I know that our company is Northern California and Northern Nevada. So to have a pie piece would be very difficult. So how do you go ahead and recommend the cadence? How many pieces do you all do to at least start them off at a minimum basis? And how do you keep scalability and relevancy tied together?
Yes, no, most definitely. So for email marketing specifically, we have the touch points that I shared monthly that we do through our marketing playbook. So we have 3 at a minimum touch points, regardless of email marketing, just all together, 3 minimum a month. And that's what we're going to handle, and you're going to fill those gaps. We're going to source that content, again, based on your area. So for anyone trying to achieve this, it's what's important to your city and where you live. So we share lifestyle content. We talk about design. We talk about market updates. We give a little piece of everything, but not so much that, you know, I always say a confused mind says no. If you overload someone, they're a little all over the place. They're getting this from their agent. They're not sure which direction to go. So we always call it a lifestyle piece because it complements real estate. You do want to find a way to bring it back to real estate. An example I always use is we feature, we had the East Lake Golf tournament that happens here. That's a great thing for us to share because it's an Atlanta event, but it's also great for our economy. It's great for that area where, you know, many agents are sharing that it's a great place to live and move with a lot of things that are happening there. So following, using ActivePipe, you know, MoxieWorks product of tracking what content is working. And then, like I said, with the 3 touch points a month, where we found that number is not only from the ninja mindset, but it's also what's working for us. If I saw a high number of unsubscribes every month for that, I'm going to tuck back a little bit. ActivePipe is great in that it can put people in deferred status and allow people to maybe take a break. But I always say that when it comes to content, of course, we do have a team that creates this for our agents, and that's wonderful. If you don't have a team that's able to do that, AI is great. There's so many design platforms out there that can put this together. It just takes planning. You don't need to do this last minute. It's only overwhelming because you're preparing to do it right before it goes out each month. That's why it's a little stressful. But if you prepare for it, it's much easier. And we always say doubt means don't. So if we feel like there's something we're sharing to clients that we wouldn't open ourselves, or we'd be like, is this going to feel a little, you know, not right for what we're trying to share? Doubt means don't. Pull it. You don't have to stick by everything that might be working for someone else. So we really, you know, stay with the lifestyle piece, stay with the consistency of the 3 times a month, and watch your numbers. It's a long game. It's not going to, that first month is not telling to what your success is with your process. You really have to follow it through. So that's how we communicate it. And hopefully that helps anyone trying to put something together yourself. AI is what you put into it, you get out. So give it information on what you're trying to achieve and what your client basis is, and it will help you achieve that content wise.
That's great to it. Do you recommend to your agents that certainly we're trying to get them at least the minimum of the 3? Is 3 enough from what you've seen, or should they be supplanting anything else with that?
I think 3 is enough depending on the time of year. Obviously holidays and all that is very different because they're expecting an influx at certain times of the year because things that are happening. Obviously, if something crazy is happening in the market right now, that's probably when they're wanting to hear and expecting to hear from their real estate agent. Just because someone's opening your email and not replying to you does not mean you didn't give them something of value. And that's what you have to remember. Think about it like social media. If Jackie doesn't comment on my post, but she likes it, it doesn't mean that Jackie didn't like what I posted just because she didn't comment. So you have to think about it like that. People are busy, just as busy as you are. We have to start putting clients in the same shoes as us sometimes, of they're not just sitting there waiting to hear from us. You know, that wheel is spinning for them too. So if you're going to fill the gaps, we recommend phone calls and things that are more personal than filling the gap with an additional email or a custom piece.
That's great. Good. That's super good. Jackie, what would you have to say? What do you want to add?
So
how much cadence do you have, and what do you provide, and what do you do?
So we have a number of different services, and Emma, I love what you said, a confused mind says no. That is a really, really great line. But so we have different services that we provide. We do the monthly newsletter for our agents through ActivePipe. And like Emma said, ours is, it's a one size fits all. But the beauty of ActivePipe is if they want to customize it and throw some additional things in there, they certainly can. But the idea, again, is the consistency. At least something is getting sent out for them. And then we also have our social media program, which at least twice a week, our marketing team is going to post something on our agents' social media business pages. Again, consistency. Marketing in itself is a full-time job. And a lot of agents don't do it because they don't have the time, or it's system overload. They don't know what to post. So the monthly newsletter plus the multiple Facebook posts. And then we also have a program for mailers. So once a month, we'll send a postcard to your sphere. It's all agent branded, whether it's, you know, well, up here, a Celtics schedule or a Patriots schedule, although nobody wants a Patriots schedule this season. But things like that, again, staying in touch with them. So it's multiple different avenues that we're keeping in touch with them, whether it's digital marketing or mailers, things like that.
That is great to it. Now, on the social media posts, do they allow you to post for them, or you just provide templates or content?
We post for them, so they give us access to their business page if they want. And then twice a week, we'll post some sort of blog, again, all educational driven content, any of their open houses that they have or listings, things like that. We're going to feed their social media for them.
That's great. Chris, what have you seen?
Yeah, I think what we see is consistency, right? And so consistency is the key to success here. And whether it's 2 touch points or 3 touch points, as long as it's consistent and it's something that can be expected, then you can actually measure it and dial it in. And that's really where we see people succeed, is consistent program, measuring, and then modifying and optimizing based on results. And that's the value add that we can bring, is to give you the tools to be able to measure the performance of your campaigns, right? To see what are your open rates, what are your click-through rates, how have those changed over time? How are people interacting with your content? What content do they like? And then making it easy for individual users. And Emma, I love that you called out Smart Send, right? Making it easy for individual users. If they don't open 3 of your touch points from ActivePipe, we'll just let them cool off for a little while. And when they start engaging with your emails again, then we're going to start sending them back those emails on a regular cadence, so that you're keeping them in your database, but you're not inundating them with something that maybe they're not in a place in their life to look at. And yeah, it's one thing that you said, Jackie, that made me chuckle inside is the football schedule. I didn't get my Seahawks schedule this year. And I called my agent and it's like, hey, Heidi, where's my Seahawks schedule? Did you forget about me? And it's those things, along with what you can automate, but those things that are personal that really make a difference. And we can help with the automation. That's what MoxieWorks is here to do. We can help you with the system tools to facilitate the automation, so that you have more time to do the personal, right? Because ActivePipe won't pick up the phone for you, but it'll remind you what the phone number you need to call is when you have the question.
That's great. I love hearing in the way of the consistency that you wanted your dang Seahawks schedule, right? And people have gotten used to that. It'd be the same with the pies. Where the heck's my pie, right? And again, it also goes back into when they're not getting the results and they're looking for something instantaneously. Again, they have to remember it's more inside sales than outside sales. They're going to have to go back and go back and go back to it. So we're getting close to rounding out. I want to go ahead and ask, and I'm going to start with Jackie this time. If you were to really impress one thing to this audience, what would you say?
This is very much a relationship business. For scalability purposes and ease of things, automate as much as you possibly can, but that cannot be your only contact with your people. They want a personal relationship. They want to see your face. They want to hear your voice. So to what Emma said, you need to fill in the gaps with more personal touches, but don't underestimate the power of a CRM, of a database, of something like ActivePipe to do those touches in between the personal phone calls, the personal outreaches. So automate and fill in with personal touches.
That's great. Thank you. Emma, what's the one thing you'd like to impress upon this?
Yeah, mine is, again, on my soapbox, mine is just to do it, because at the end of the day, people are naturally, everyone is moving quickly. We're selfish. We're not spending that much time thinking about what our real estate agent sent us and what we think about it and dissecting it. So don't give, I think, people that much credit of they're not breaking apart the things that you're doing as you're trying to touch base with them. So whether it's an email, a mailer, this and that, a lot of people are holding back because they're like, I don't know if it's personal enough. I don't know if it's the right move to do, but until you do it and track it and see, you're never going to know. So you're either working with not doing it and never knowing and your business not progressing, or doing it and being able to pivot to really find yourself in the way that you're doing it. So give yourself more credit in what you can achieve with that, and don't allow the thought of maybe someone seeing it and not liking it be the reason you not do it, because people are moving quickly. We're not looking at content that long. We're looking at things that bring us value and we're digesting that. Anything that doesn't immediately right off the bat with the first impression of an email or a social media post, we're moving on. We're not holding it under a microscope. So be easier on yourself, do it, get consistent and track it, and you'll know whether or not it's working for you.
Great, you guys. I would add in the same, NAR puts the stat out, and these seem low to me, but it went from 2000, and I think I could have it in here, 2008, that on average sellers sold their house every 6 years, and now it's at 10 years. And so again, understanding that their need, is not immediate, but the relationship's immediate to it. So I think those are good stats to it. Chris, we're going to round out with you. We want to thank MoxieWorks very much for sponsoring this very critical event for us. So what would you want to say in regard of MoxieWorks? And again, thank you so very much.
Well, first of all, thank you for letting me participate in this. I'm really excited to participate with both Emma, Jackie, and you, Gretchen. And what we'd like to say is let us help you scale your business. Our goal is to help you spend more time that's meaningful with your clients by doing the work that can be automated. And so the things like the sending the campaign, we can take care of that for you so you can take care of your client. And that's really our goal, is to help our client brokerages, help agents really sell more homes and be more present with their spheres and databases. So let us help you.
That's great. So you've got some contact information for Moxie. I want to just end again with thanking all the smart folks in the audience that knew to go ahead and pop on this webinar, and just give also a plug for RISMedia. They put these webinars out, and it's fabulous speakers who have really kind of concentrated on these areas of topics. So continue to grow and prosper in this business. Thank you again to the panelists and MoxieWorks. I appreciate you all very much, and sharing your knowledge with everyone. So sign out, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.